Hi, everybody. I'm Eric Miller. I'm the founder of Allied We Can. I'm coming back after a bit of a sabbatical. About 6 months ago, I had an event happen that changed my life, and I needed some time away from social and time away from doing videos and writing and all the things. So I'm back again. Not sure what capacity. You'll soon find out why I'm saying that. But I'm here again. I'm here to serve others, and I want to help. So that's why what drives me and what drives everything I do, as far as helping young men find their way in recovery and men that are struggling with spirituality and finding ways in which to have healthy masculinity, because there's so many influencers out there today that are pushing this message of toxic masculinity. They've created the situation, a lot of which in our country today has created issues with, hey, should we move forward with democracy or not? So when I move forward, there are articles I'm going to write on an every other week basis are going to talk about issues and masculinity and how it is to be a healthy male in today's world. Also, things I'll write about that will talk about how you can be more spiritually centered and why that's important. Because I think sometimes the spirituality and religion get confused, and the tendency can be to run away from anything that sounds religious. So I want to put that at bay right now, that you can definitely have a spiritual life without having to be affiliated with any particular type of religion. So anyway, without further ado, this is an article I wrote that went on today's Substack, and in the notes of this video, you'll see a link on Substack, and I hope you'll get the written copy of that. Also, visit our Substack. There's other stuff on there as well that you can take a look at. There's also stuff and ways in which to get a hold of me and what I'm doing with men in spirituality and recovery. You can learn more about if that's something you want to do. Okay, so here is the article I'm going to read to you. Maybe I'll have a few comments on it as well, so you can read the full thing without the comments later on. All right, the name of the article is I Went Quiet on Purpose, and Here's What I Heard. What a country addicted to noise stops being able to hear. I've been gone a while. If you read it, if you're a paid subscriber, you noticed. If you're a free subscriber, you may have wondered if Allied We Can had quietly folded the way most projects do, without an announcement, without a goodbye, just an inbox that stopped filling up. It didn't fold. I went quiet on purpose. Some of that silence was forced on me. My daughter Ericka died, and grief doesn't care about your publishing schedule. I shared what happened on social media, and in my last piece, I'll write about her again in 2 weeks. Not today. Today, I want to tell you what I learned about by being quiet, because the silence stopped being only about loss after a while and started being about something I think most of you need also. Noise is the default setting now. So you don't notice it until you stop. Open your phone in the morning, and you count the things competing for your attention about before you've even sat up in bed. The notifications, the group chats, the alerts, the reels you didn't choose, the comments on something you posted last week and have already half forgotten about. This is the air we breathe now, and like any air, you don't notice it until it's gone. When I stepped back from the show, the writing, I used to have a podcast, Allie We Can Find Common Ground, and the coaching, the inbox was surprised me. What surprised me wasn't, let me start all over again with that. When I stepped back from the show, the writing, the coaching, the inbox, what surprised me wasn't how hard it was to be away from the work. It was how loud the rest of my life still was. The noise didn't come from Allied We Can. The noise was everything I'd wrapped around being a man who always thought he had an answer, always shows up, and always knows what to say. Strip the work away and the noise was still there, just waiting for something else to fill the channel. That's when I started to better understand what young men have been telling me in conversations like those of my stepsons, men I met in the world in spiritual direction and coaching sessions. They say things like, I don't know how to change this. I don't know what I actually believe. I don't know what I want. Of course you don't. Nobody can hear themselves think in a room that's loud. So what the Manosphere sells you instead of silence. The Manosphere is loud on purpose. So is the outrage machine on every side of the political spectrum. And so is the algorithm that picked the last 15 videos you scrolled through, whether you wanted to watch them or not. Can you relate to that? I certainly can. Loud sells. Loud keeps you watching. Loud convinces you the answer is one more video, one more take, one more guy with the right light and a podcast mic explaining what's wrong with you and what to do about it. My friend, if you're one of those people that have been told that something's wrong with you, you don't belong, or you don't matter, or you don't count, you do. You do count. You do matter. We all matter. And by putting your value on what someone else's opinion of you is shouldn't be a concern. I know it's hard because we all have people we look up to. We have people that are influencers that we might respect, that we feel like we should live up to what they have to say. And really it's kind of a fool's errand, quite frankly, to do that, to hold your value on what someone else thinks of you. So what loud cannot do is help you become anyone. Becoming someone, actually someone, not the version of yourself you perform online. It requires a kind of attention that the algorithm is structurally incapable of giving you. You can model good men. You can learn from them, study them, walk in their wake until you find your own footing. That's how this has always worked. But absorbing someone's content isn't the same as modeling someone's life. And a follower count is not a mentor. You can't build conviction out of a stranger's certainty. You have to get quiet. And the people selling you masculinity know that if you ever do, you'll stop buying what they're selling. That's not a conspiracy, it's a business model. The silence I trained for. I didn't disappear into nothing while I was gone. I finished my certification in spiritual direction. If you don't know what that is, and most Gen Z men don't, it's the practice of sitting with someone in their life, not to fix them, not to advise them, not to give them content, but to help them notice how the spirit is moving in them and around them and what they're already hearing underneath the noise. It's the opposite of the influencer model. There's no script, there's no take, there's a person, and there's silence, and there's the slow work of finding out what actually is true. I trained for it because I needed it. And because I walked alone for years on my own journey, and I don't want other men like you to walk alone the way I did. I spent years writing and speaking and showing up for other men, and I started to suspect that the thing they were actually missing wasn't another framework or another book or even another podcast. It was someone willing to be quiet with them long enough that they could hear themselves. And that's harder than it sounds, my friend. Most of us, when we get quiet, hear something we don't want to. We hear old grief, old anger, old fears, the question we've been outrunning for years, and the parts of ourselves we said we'd deal with later. The noise is comfortable because the noise drowns all of that out. The work is learning to listen to it without flinching. It can be tough. Here's what I heard. I'll be honest about what came up for me, because I think it's what comes up for most men if they get quiet long enough. Being quiet can be scary because there's so much noise. We're just so used to all the distractions. And once we be quiet, it's like, I feel like I got to do something. I've definitely been that. I heard grief that hadn't finished with me yet, and isn't going to for a long time. I heard real questions about whether what I'm doing with Allied We Can is the right shape for the moment we're in. I heard my daughter's voice in places I didn't expect to. And underneath all of it, I heard something steadier. Not loud, not a vision, not a sudden answer, just a quiet conviction that the work is still mine to do and that it's going to look a little different now. That's what silence gives you. Silence. If you can stand it long enough, not answers, but it gives you direction, believe it or not. So, what happens next? Allied We Can is coming back. Not the same because I'm not the same. I'm not the same, but recognizably itself. Same fight, same audience, same refusal to hand young men over to the grift. In 2 weeks, I'll write a piece about Ericka and what grief teaches a man that the Manosphere structurally can't teach. Going forward, you'll get 2 full-length articles and 2 shorter posts from me each month. Free subscribers get most of it, but paid subscribers get the deeper work. And I'm talking about the Substack article here. This is what this is. So here on YouTube, it's free. I've been building a coaching and spiritual direction. I've been building in coaching and spiritual direction, and the conversations I can only have with people who've decided the work is worth investing in. To the paid subscribers who stayed through the silence, thank you. You made it possible for me to step back without the work collapsing, and you're the reason there's something to come back to. I don't take that for granted, and I'm not going to. To the free subscribers who are still here, I'm glad you didn't go. To everyone, try this week, put the phone down. Oh, okay. Let me start that again. All right. To everyone, try this for a week. Put the phone down for an hour. Don't replace it with a podcast. Don't replace it with a workout playlist. Just be in the room with yourself. You know, if an hour is too long to go with, if sitting in silence is tough, try a few minutes, try 5 minutes, and then start building up from there. I know that in meditation, I started meditating years ago, and at first it was one of the most challenging thing I ever done because I have this monkey mind that wants to be active all the time, and it was tough for me not to have something going on. So give that a try. Try it just for a few minutes. If you can't do an hour alone by yourself, that's tough. I know. So just start off small and work your way up incrementally. And I can promise you, you're going to notice something different when you try this. You're going to start seeing answers to problems that by thinking about them, you never would have been able to solve them. Does that sound weird? It's true. Once you get away from a problem, you set it aside for a while, you get quiet, you listen to silence, and the truth reveals itself. The direction you need to walk in next gets revealed. The path you need to go towards and get on shows up. Okay, so let me wrap this up to a little bit. So what's been waiting for you to stop talking long enough to hear it? Okay, let me back up a little bit. Okay, I was talking about sitting in the room. To everyone, try this for a week, but put the phone down for an hour. Don't replace it with a podcast. Don't replace it with a workout playlist. Just be in the room with yourself. See what's been waiting for you to stop talking long enough to hear it. That's where the work starts, my friend. And that's where it always starts. So that's it. That's my first article. I look forward to being with you, and I hope that as this audience builds, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, I think I've been directed, by a higher power that's telling me to do this work. I've resisted doing this work for a long, long time. I'm talking about working with men in recovery. I've resisted it because it just didn't feel right for me. But I've been praying about this, and I feel like this is the work I'm supposed to be doing now. So we'll see how it goes. I hope to see you, or I won't see you, but I hope you see me, and drop me a comment and subscribe, by the way. If you will do that, I appreciate that and help grow this channel. Bye-bye. Till next time.